Hi, mystery friends. Today, we're going to be talking about homeschooling and mental health. So come on back. We're going to get into it. Welcome back, mystery friends. If you're new here, I'm Sarah Walde. I am the writer of over 14 mysteries that you can find on Amazon and all the bookish places, but I'm also a homeschooling mom. And if you've been here at any length of time, you know I have mental health issues. And that's what we're going to go digging into today, homeschooling and mental health. But why am I even bringing that up, right? This is going to be kind of emotional for me, so I'm hoping I can stay on target and get you guys the information you need or that would encourage you. First thing I want to say is if you're suffering from depression or any self-harm thoughts, please get help. Okay, I'm not going to be able to heal you or help you on the path to healing in the few minutes that we have together. Please go get help. And in fact, that's kind of the theme of this video is get help. So I'm going to make a lot of generalities. I'm going to make a lot of assumptions, and just know I'm applying it to myself and to the people I have encountered in real life. What I'm saying might not apply to you. Please don't make it fit you if you think that it should. We're all different. We're all created differently. We all have different strengths and weaknesses, all those kind of things, different situations. Just know I'm speaking from my experience and those who are around me who have shared their lives with me and their stories with me. And I am not a doctor, none of that stuff. Okay, so let's get into it. How does homeschooling affect the mental health of a mom like me or like you or a parent like you, okay? First of all, a lot of us homeschooling families depend on one income because obviously we're homeschooling, we're schooling at home. The parent who is schooling most often is the one who has to stay home during working hours and school their children. The other side to that is that the parent who is homeschooling during the day or maybe even the evening, they actually have a job after they homeschool or they're working from home while they're homeschooling. And we're going to talk about both of those situations. Either way, money is tight and time is tight. And the pressure of homeschooling your students can build up tension in your mind and make your own mental health plummet. Let me explain what I mean by that. Homeschooling is great. I love homeschooling. It is worth the struggle. It is worth the effort. It is worth the hardship. But that doesn't mean that with tight funds, tight time, high pressure, it doesn't mean that you, teacher, parent, mom, should neglect your own mental health. In fact, it means just the opposite. You need to be taking care of your mental health as a priority. So I'm going to be talking a lot about things that I do to help my mental health. And it's kind of funny to me that I had decided to make this video a long time ago, and I'm actually struggling with my mental health right now. These flowers, which are gorgeous, lovely, were given to me by another homeschooling mom because she had seen me walk through it in an extremely difficult day with my mental health. Another thing is if you've watched these videos the last month, you might notice me umming a lot more or staring off in the distance a lot more than often than I normally do, or tripping over my words a lot more than I normally do. And that all has to do with mental health and finding the right medications and all that kind of stuff. So please have patience with me, but also have patience, more importantly, with yourself and get yourself the help you need. If you're watching this video and do not know already, I am a Jesus person. I believe in Jesus as him being the Son of God, and I follow his word to the best of my ability. I fail big time. But when I say that, a lot of the things I use for mental health come from my hope in him. So if you don't share the same hope, some of what I'm going to say isn't going to make a lot of sense to you. But a lot of the other things I'm going to say can be applied to anybody, okay? Such as, mamas, don't let yourself get so worn out or disheartened that you give up on you. Get help. And there's a lot of different ways to get help, okay? One of the ways I've noticed homeschooling moms and parents, when I say moms, it's because moms are generally the ones who are doing the teaching and parenting while the dads are working. I am not trying to be sexist or anything. That's just my experience, the people around me. More often, it's the moms that are home, but there are some stellar homeschool dads out there as well. I'm not discounting you. Homeschooling parents, take care of yourself. But a lot of the pressure with homeschooling is, are you doing enough for your student? Are you teaching them enough? Are you spending enough hours of the day schooling them? Are you pushing them hard enough? Are you taking them to enough classes? Are you exposing them enough to different kinds of things in the world, different, like different classes, different art forms, different PE forms, all those kind of things. And the enough factor, am I doing enough factor, puts so much stress on the homeschooling parent and the homeschooling family as a whole. Husbands and wives, moms and dads, teacher and non-teacher, they can have a lot of conflicting points of view on what is enough. I want to tell you flat out, my view of enough is so basic. Are your students learning? Are they doing what the state has asked you to do in order for your school to be legal? Okay, those are the basics. Are you teaching them in my school? Are we spending time in God's Word, either during classroom hours or after classroom hours? Are we doing reading? Are we doing math? Are we talking about the world around us, both socially and physically? Are we diving in to learning things that my student is interested in, also learning things that they might not be interested in, but they'll need to learn how to do to live, like laundry, cooking their food, balancing a checkbook, all checkbooks, balancing a budget, all those kind of things. What equals enough? So before you start piling this world around you, sit down and with your spouse, figure out what is enough. And then when you've got your list, I want you to sit down and I want you to really look at it, okay? And I really need you to ask questions like, is piano something that is a must for you? In some families, it is. And in some families, it isn't. You have to decide that. Maybe your family, piano is a must. It's a must. It's a passion for the parent that's teaching, and it actually gets them through some of the harder subjects because it drives them, and your students really love it. But piano might be here, and soccer, which might be a must for the parent who lives next door to you, might not be a must for your family. You might be content walking around the street as your PE and then doing piano as your fine arts. The flip can happen. You could be a sports family where sports is a non-negotiable for you. You have to do sports for PE, for your state, or for your own peace of mind and well-being. That's where your family bonds, and that is a must. But I highly encourage you to look at your list and figure out, are these things really have-tos, or are they because we want tos? That is the first thing I'm going to ask you to do for your mental health, because more likely than not, you have some things on your list that are not have-tos, that are consuming your energy and time, and probably no one really likes. So look at your list. Then once you've pared those down, I want you to look at your list again and figure out, do you have enough hours in the day to make sure you hit all your to-do lists? Okay, all your have-to lists. If you don't, then you have to find something to take off that list. There is no way you're ever going to complete it, and there is no way you're ever going to be satisfied
with leaving something off. There's always going to be something in the back of your mind telling you, hey, we didn't do this. I'm a failure. Knock it off. Because you can't book 14 hours of schoolwork into every student's day and they're in kindergarten and you expect them to actually be able to have active learning where you can be proud when you show up to your mom's house or your mother-in-law's house and you have them recite things. There's no way a kindergartner can take 14 hours of instruction without blowing a gasket. And there's no way you, parent, mom, can teach full-hearted, in the moment, high energy, enthusiastic lessons for 14 hours a day and still find time to eat, sleep, bathe, and breathe. You can't do that. So please go back on your list and figure out how many hours these things are going to take. And if they're taking 14 hours or more, cut them out. Cut something else out. It can even be cut out to where you're like, okay, well, we love science projects, but those always take us 3 hours. So we can't do science projects every day. We will do science projects every other week on Thursday, and that will take up almost our whole school day will be these science projects every other week. And then every other week, our next passion is learning how to write mysteries. And so we're going to spend 3 hours the other weeks doing that. You can stagger things, but a lot of the times we try to pile everything on into one day, and nothing is going to tear apart your joy for homeschooling or your students' joy for homeschooling or your mental health faster than expecting yourself to do something that you cannot achieve. No way. And there are a lot of things in life that I feel like we're called to do by God, and we're incapable of doing them, and so the Holy Spirit comes and helps us do them. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about all the shoulds you have in your life, all the I have tos, everyone else does it, or everyone else tells me my student won't be well-rounded unless they do it. All of those things line up. You need to take stuff off your list. If you feel like your mental health is in any way faltering, you need to take things off your list, and don't be ashamed to just get down to the bare bones of schooling while you heal. That is essential. Another thing you need to do, moms, is self-care. I hate that term because to me, self-care sounds like we're going to go to Burke Williams and spend the day in the sauna every Thursday. To some moms, that might be the case. But again, to most homeschooling moms that I know and families that I know, you're living on one income or 1.5 incomes, okay? If you're living on 2 incomes, you're living with very little sleep because the teaching parent is also working full-time, and that's exhausting. So when are you going to have time or money or both at the same time to go and do these huge experiences for self-care? You need to learn how to do self-care in very small, manageable ways. One of the ways that I do self-care is sitting right over here, my pointing in the right direction, and it's this cute coffee cup. Look at it, it's so cute. My husband got me this coffee cup, I don't know, years ago, and it has the cute little saucer and everything. And sorry about my lipstick stain on it, but when I am stressed out or when I just need a little pick-me-up, I make sure that I take the time to have my coffee or tea in this cute little cup, because this little cup makes me feel special. It makes me feel good. It's really simple. I think he even got it from like Home Goods. I don't know, but it makes me feel good about me just for a second. It's not prideful. It's not arrogant. I'm not being puffed up. It's just taking a minute to enjoy something that makes me feel good. That's one little way that I practice self-care, is by having little trinkets or little routines or little customs that really make me feel good, even if they seem silly to everyone else. This is not hard to do. I'm probably going to have coffee going anyway, or I'm going to have tea going anyway. So pouring it into this cute cup when I need to calm down or I need a moment to feel like somebody cares about me, I can pour it in that cup, and I can remember that my husband thought
of me enough to buy me this cup, and that this cup makes me feel good about me. And I can take a second and just enjoy that. Even if I'm doing it during story time and I'm reading at the same time, that's something I can do. Another thing I can do for my homeschool that I encourage you to do in your homeschool is bring things you love into the school yourself. So let's say you're doing American history and you have some novels that you really like. Maybe you like all the old Little House on the Prairie books, or maybe you love, my brain just shut off. Maybe you love a book that my daughter loves called The Girl from Montana and those series of books. Maybe you really love certain authors that are American history authors. Take some time off your actual textbook, if you have one, if you use one, and dive into some of this fiction that you love, Mom, because you're teaching alongside your textbook and you're enjoying the process yourself. This is something you love that you can read out loud with your children, or you can have them read on your own and you get to discuss with them, and you get to feel good about what you're teaching because you like it. I highly encourage you finding even a subject that you love in your life to teach. Like I was mentioning piano earlier, if you love piano and it brings you joy to teach it, then make sure you incorporate it into your homeschool. Because homeschooling isn't just, we're going to hit this, and this subject. It's home. You, Mom, are part of your home. Doing things you love with your students as part of their education brings home to the schooling. If you love piano, make sure you're teaching it to your kids. I'm not saying you got to pressure them until they're 25 to keep doing the school or guilt them into it. I'm not saying you need to make sure that they believe it's their passion too, but share it with them, especially when you're going through a hard time, especially when you're going through a difficult time for you in schooling and homeschooling. Take time to embrace your passions again and share them with your students. Piano is great. I use writing. I love writing. I love mystery writing. So a lot of my students' time would be reading mystery novels together. We're still hitting the subjects we need to hit. We're doing reading, composition, and literary analysis, discussing grammar, discussing spelling, discussing all the things. Even sentence diagramming you can do in that. But we're doing it using something that makes Mom happy. And you know what? That trickles down. When I feel confident and happy in what I'm teaching, it trickles down to my students. And it is a great boost for my mental health to dive into something I like. Sometimes when we're doing school, we can get so focused on what has to get done or what our students need that we can become bitter or complacent to being put last. Now, I'm not saying that we should be first. I'm not doing any of that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to explain to you that it's okay to put things you love into your school and not feel guilty about it. Be excited about it. Bring yourself a little bit of joy back into your school. And it's going to boost up your morale of your school, and it's going to help your mental health. The other thing I want to say, and this is a big deal, and I've said it several times throughout this video, is get help when you need it. There are ways to get help even if you are low on funds. There are ways to get help even if you feel like you don't have time. A lot of doctors nowadays will meet you through your phone or through video conferencing. Mama, you're worth getting help for, okay? You're worth the sacrifice of a budget to get help, especially if you feel like you're drowning in your mental health issues. You have seen me walk through this. I am currently walking through this. I know it is not easy. Like I said, my ums and my brain just fog. I am going through medication shift right now, and I'm not all there like I want to be. So I know it's going to take some time to get back to who I actually am as a person, because I let my mental health drift to the side. I put everybody else's before mine, and there is a time for that. But there's also a time for mama to take care of herself. And I'm not talking spa days and mani-pedis, even though that might be something you need personally. I'm talking making sure you're reaching out for medical help, counseling, all those kind of things. You are worth it, okay? You are worth it. Your students and your family need you, and they need you to be the healthiest version of you possible. So please reach out and get help. I'm going to share with you a couple things that I used. So there is a app called Sensa, which I have been using. It is not a replacement for a doctor or therapy. I'm not going there, but I wanted to show you this app. It's really cool. I'm not an affiliate with them. Maybe one day they'll sponsor something, whatever. I love them. And Sensa has this little on the phone app, and you track how you're feeling, but you can track how you're feeling throughout the day. You can go on several times and you track very good, good, moderate, bad, very bad. And this helps me track how I'm feeling. This is important to me because when I'm going through a very depressive time, I feel as if it's always been that way and will always be that way. And that's part of the depressive state, is the hopelessness, right? Even though my brain can tell me, no, that's not how it is, my feelings will not always let that point get through. So with this app, I can go back and track my calendar and see, look, I felt good this day. And I can even click on it and it will tell me why. Oh, I had a successful day doing this, or I just felt good because of this. That's amazing. But it will also show me my extreme lows and what triggered me, because it takes just a second to write extremely bad and then just a few keywords typed into your phone that will save to your calendar to let you know what it was that triggered that feeling. And then I can learn to avoid certain things, or I can learn to schedule downtime for after these things happen so I don't rush into a bad situation knowingly and then overcommit myself immediately after. It also has a whole bunch of articles explaining ADHD, anxiety, stress, and depression, but then it has activities you can do like journaling, and you click off if you've done it. A 7 to 15 minute workout, you click off if you've done it. Taking a break every hour. Again, it keeps you accountable. And every 7 days, it allows you to do an evaluation to gauge where you are in your stress level, in your anxiety level, and your depression level. And if you've hit the extreme level in any of those, it will flag you and tell you, maybe you should call and get some help. Here is a phone number for you to call to talk to somebody right now. And I love it. One of the things that helped me the most when I started using this app is there's a quick relief button. See the little cute guy right there? And you hit it and it tells you some exercises to do. Deep breathing, grounding exercises, 5 senses exercises. And when I very first started using this, I used these probably every couple hours because I felt so overwhelmed and I felt as if the pressure was just pushing in on me from all sides. So I would hit that quick relief button and go through an exercise. And it really did help. Did it make me feel amazing? Did I walk away happy and rainbow and sunshine? No, but I walked away being able to breathe. I walked away with the panic attack I was currently having fading into the background. My pulse slowed down. My breathing regulated. The screaming irritation that I felt in my head was going away. And that helped me get through some really, really tough days. So that's the Sensa app. I'll put a link to it in the description. Again, they're not an affiliate. I just love them. And it does cost, but it's very inexpensive. It's less than a cup of coffee every month to get this app. And for the balance that it's been bringing me, or like just the place and the accountability to write down my feelings with actually not having to journal in a like, I don't have to go find my journal and write something down. I can just type it into my phone and this app keeps it for me. It's extremely helpful for somebody like me who may or may not have ADHD. I don't know. I'm still going through that whole process to figure that out. And forgets unless it's right in her face. And I always have my phone on me most of the time, unless I've lost it, which I do that quite a bit too. So please, mama, get help. You are worth it. You have been created for a purpose, and you have things that you need to accomplish, and your family needs you, and they need you to be at the best possible version of you that you can be. And sometimes, in fact, all the time, we can't do that by ourselves. I lean on the Lord to help me. And then there are times where I feel like he is encouraging me to go get help somewhere else. Please don't wait. I waited way too long to get help. And now it's going to take me a long time to get back to the best version of me. But I am getting there, and I know you can get there too. If you want me to pray for you in any way, please let me know in the comments. You don't even have to tell me what it is, and I will just add you to my list. I do not mind doing that for you. I love you, and sharing this stuff isn't easy. I hope I was a lot less scattered than I think I was, but probably not. Get help, Mom. Take some time for you. Find little things you can do for you that aren't expensive, that don't require a whole lot of time, that don't necessarily depend on a babysitter being able to come over, like my little teacup. Find some friends who will love you even on your hard days, like my friend Michelin did for me with those flowers. Don't be ashamed for the days that you can't be enough. None of us are enough. The world likes to tell you you're enough, but you're not. You weren't created to be enough, but you were created to be you. And you might need help every once in a while, and that's okay. I love you. I'm cheering you on. Hopefully this wasn't a big downer. I'll catch you next time.